This episode is sponsored by Odro, giving recruiters something better to pitch since 2012. Benjamin, welcome to Warrington.
It's good to be back.
It's
It's like I never left. I feel like a second home here.
Right, shall we watch the Jordan Belfort and...
Oh, right, yes.
Have you seen?
No, I haven't seen this, so this will be your first time.
You
okay.
ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, so.
How about when in terms of like the phone, use the phone versus door knocking? Which do you like better?
Phone's definitely senior.
Grant looks rough.
I can talk to more people. Hey, I'm coming to San Antonio, man. Will you give me 5 minutes? This is before anybody knew who I was, right? No books, no kind of notoriety.
So what you're at? Telling him why he's calling. Give me 5 minutes.
That's a long time.
Yeah. You'd ask for 30 seconds.
I'd ask for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
They're like, no, don't come by. But see, that was interest. To me, that's interest. No, I'm not interested. Not interested.
So not interested to you is interest.
Well, it is. It says not interested. Not is an adjective to describe interest.
Okay.
Right? So it's a level of interest. Well, it is. It says not.
So do you think not interested is a level of interest?
To give to some slight credit, not interested is often a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I'm not going to completely slate that because sometimes you say you're not interested. In fact, when I teach, a prospect can say they're not interested when they are, because you don't want to let a salesman know how interested you really are.
Yeah.
So So we'll give them credit there. Yeah.
You want to?
But
you won't believe the amount of girls I've met on nights out that were obviously showing a level of interest I wasn't aware of.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if someone says they're not
I have
interested,
on a
then
scale from 0 to 10. What interest level do you have? None. That is a level.
right?
I like his expression there.
Well, I wouldn't do that. I disagree with that. But I'm not saying that reasonable minds could differ. I'm more about hitting massive numbers. I would move on to the next guy.
Well,
the problem I see is with salespeople, a lot of people, they have a fear of cold calling.
Yeah.
So they'll use as an excuse to not cold call, to talk to someone for too long they know he's not going to buy.
Yes, I agree with that.
I would more be on Jordan Belfort's thing there.
I would too. I would just challenge not interested once. I wouldn't get into a fight with them. So when someone says to me, I'm not interested, I go, no, that makes sense. Typically when someone says they're not interested, it usually means that they don't have peaks and troughs in their business. I give some lie, something, and if they say, no, then I move on. But no, I agree with Jordan.
That's what you did, and when you say I'd give them one more chance, and then
I give them one chance and then move on. But yeah, Jordan sounds like he spends his time. I suspect his style is you just keep talking at someone until they just give up.
Yeah,
which isn't selling. It's
I think
badgering.
That's what Grant's, I think, going for there.
Yeah.
Where Jordan's saying, I just want to hit massive numbers.
Boiler room stuff. Anyone can do that. There's no skill in being a boiler room salesman, is there?
No. I used to be on a dialer when I worked for BT.
Yeah.
So I had 4 seconds between calls. And it was,
it's brutal.
Yeah, it was literally, you don't want to speak to me, right? Next one. Next one. You didn't improve.
No.
It was just a numbers game.
So no, I agree with Jordan on that.
Yeah,
And they don't pick up next call. So that's what bothers me about doing that.
Yeah, well, then they're not trained. Because they shouldn't be having casual conversations. We shouldn't be talking about the weather and sports and politics.
But in the absence of 24/7 supervision, that's what salespeople do. They do.
Well, there should be 24 hours. There should be 24/7 supervision. The phone calls should be recorded. The manager should know exactly what they opened with.
But in the real world, though, that's not.
In my real world, it's possible.
I know, but
in your real world, maybe it's not. But in your real world, everybody's using drugs. So in my real world.
These two are going to get into this.
I think it's just clash of the egos there.
It is a clash of the egos. I notice how the lighting, Jordan looks TV ready.
Yeah.
Very smooth, very slick. Whereas he looks like he's just come from an all-night bender.
Okay. I said in my real world, where we work, where in Miami, when those guys are on the phone, every one of those calls are recorded.
Right. And everyone's listened to by QC people, every single one.
Management, and they're intervened if they're incorrect. They train every morning. They train every night.
Okay.
They're recorded in their trainings, and they're corrected. And once they correct, their statistics will go up.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if the program works, the stats should go up. Mm-hmm. Period. Like, just because you're getting training education, and if it's not moving the graph, like what kind of training is that?
Do you ever think this, like, sometimes he's just talking and not making any sense?
I don't think he's... No, he is. No. I'm not sure what he's saying.
I call him a studio salesman. I think he's probably one of the... He can't be the brains behind the operation, in my opinion. He can't. He's the front for something.
Yeah.
I don't get it, really. I wouldn't trust him. Do you know what I mean?
I know
with
some
pocket
people,
money, let alone.
I know some people that have been using them in the United States, and they said it's really bad.
Oh, really?
They don't like it. Yeah, there's some good bits, but on a whole, as a process and a system that is repeatably, consistently good, no.
That's bad. How'd you know that?
I work with them.
Oh, do you? You work with them now?
Yeah. But I won't say who in case I get sued by Grant.
Grant doesn't sue people. We hope.
Yet.
We hope.
Right, but listen, in all due respect, buddy, I've trained millions of salespeople.
Millions.
And I have. And I just
Millions.
The point is that my opinion is human beings are human beings, and people, the average salesperson, that if you leave them to their own devices, they will tend to stay too long on a call because they don't want to pick up the phone and dial the next
They
one.
won't make a call, exactly.
No, if you get them to make calls, but they'll still stay too long, so you want to rein them in.
Do you agree with that? The average salesperson will stay on a call a bit too long, longer than he needs to.
Yeah. Without doubt. Because they want conversations, and they're of the opinion that the longer they spend talking to someone, there's a good chance they may end up liking them. And if they like them, they'll buy from them.
Yeah.
So they're not into qualifying, they're into relationships. And that's what the whole phrase is about, relationships.
Do you think talk time KPI then is one of the worst things that damages
It's a
the business?
silly thing to measure.
Yeah.
When I worked with a company and they had a talk time. They had to have something like 3 hours per day talk time.
I've worked like that in a company.
And what happens is you spend 15 minutes talking to someone to get up your talk time. I measure what I call unique effective conversations. How many decision makers have you spoken to? And even if it's a yes or a no or they hang up, I know that if I talk to so many decision makers over a period of time, I should hit my sales target. And if it's 5 decision makers a day, that could take 6 calls, could take 50 calls. It doesn't really matter how many dials. It's, did I talk to 5 managing directors today? And if I did, fine. Get a sale, no sale, not a problem. But if I do that consistently, I'll hit my target. Most managers and companies measure the wrong thing.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
I agree, yeah. So Jordan's on the money there.
Then you would look at, then somebody's not managing that guy, because you would look at number of calls, not just calls. Like talk time that equates to nothing means somebody doesn't know what they're doing.
Right.
Oh, so I'll agree with Grant there. Take that back.
Human beings up to their own devices.
Well, the thing is, though,
You don't leave them. Like if you
when you have a commission structure, right? You want to obviously create a.
Grant looks annoyed.
Disincentivize people, right? So you want to motivate people with certain things. You want to set them up to succeed, right?
I want to make sure they're successful.
Right? You want to set them on and give them the best chance of success, right? So my point is that when I have someone on a phone, when I train them, is that if my belief is that people have a tendency, I think you agree with this, that in the absence of intervention, they'll talk too long to someone who's not going to buy. That's my belief. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
I agree that they would, yes.
Okay, good. So then my point is that, so I try to instill, procedures to stop them, to know when do you know, like, because some people, they're just not natural salespeople. I am.
Nobody's a natural
salesperson. Well, I was a natural salesperson.
Okay.
So what do you reckon? Do you reckon there are such things as natural salespeople?
No.
Watching them so far, about halfway through the clip now, do you think it's interesting how
The dynamic.
Yeah, who do you think's sort of coming out best from this conversation?
So far, Jordan. He seems in control. Well, he's in control because he's asking the questions, you see. And whoever asks questions is always in control.
Do you think it's also because it's his podcast as well? Do you think
there is that?
He's a lot more confident.
But this is the classic thing. A good salesman, which Grant claims he is, and I'm not going to argue one way or the other, but under pressure, you're seeing how he would perform in a sale, which is quite interesting. And he gets quite pugilistic and fighty.
Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is probably what he's like on the phone with people, which isn't probably a good thing, in my opinion.
I honestly don't think. I think out of those two, based on what I've seen and also what I've seen Grant Cardone live.
I am a 10x bad dude. I got a 10x business.
I couldn't imagine Grant being able to sell something tangible. Because really, he's selling you you could become successful or a future investment opportunity. It's like there's nothing tangible he's giving you.
Yeah.
I think he'd struggle with actually. That's my personal opinion. I mean, other people might have a different opinion on it, but he just says cliches. He doesn't really make much sense, and it's more show.
He's a showman, without doubt.
I call him a studio salesman. Really.
Studio salesman.
Yeah.
I like that.
Many over the years. They were naturals, right? Many aren't.
How many have you run into?
Countless
Can't
people.
count them.
Countless natural sales.
See, like being passive aggressive.
There's a lot.
Always see, even with natural, even myself, that if without conscious forethought, you'll tend to extend the call longer than you should because you don't want to pick up that phone. And it's like human nature on some level, psychology.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think people want to avoid, that's why I said earlier, it is the number, it's the volume.
What do you?
It's
you,
getting
you
through.
made fun of NLP, right? Neuro-linguistic pro. I heard someone say. I just gotta know.
I don't think much of any gimmicks like
NLP, gimmick.
Yeah.
Gimmick. That's
NLP a
interesting.
gimmick?
People think I've done NLP. No, I haven't, but I know of it and I know what it is, and I have no issue with it because it's just selling is the art of communicating, and that's what I tell people. I'm not really a sales trainer. I teach people how to communicate, and I give them skills and techniques that enable a conversation to move from A to B. But it's an open, transparent, honest conversation. I suppose that could be a form of NLP. So no.
It's not the gimmick, it's something that works, doesn't it?
I was going to say something, but I won't.
Say it. We'll cut it out if it's bad.
It's just something gimmicky, and he's a Scientologist.
Well, yeah, no.
Yeah, but we'll
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We'll leave that in.
How many people are actually making money in their environment? You know this as well as anyone. There's a lot of fucking guys out there saying they're this and they're that, and they ain't nothing at home. There's no business. There's no P&L. There's no expenses.
What do you mean? I'm confused.
They're training from this. They're speaking. I referenced this earlier.
I mean, sales trainers. You mean?
Speakers.
Speakers.
Business experts.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Speaking experts.
Right.
Gurus.
Okay.
That are like talking about how to do X.
And they've never really done it.
And
for
ain't
themselves.
nobody at home, bro. They ain't no X at home.
Right.
So that's something I agree with Grant on, 100%.
Without doubt. I don't believe in motivational speakers or anything like that.
Probably 10 years of my career where I was like, what am I
Speaking
doing?
about stuff you really didn't know about?
No. I was not running a business. So I kept making these analogies and comparisons to situations that were useful. They were educational, certainly entertaining, but it was not practical in the real world of making something fit in.
But dude,
Because you're not running a business.
Dude, I've trained millions of salespeople, and in the real world of practical sales training, there are certain things you see again and again at the average company. They're all over the world. Salespeople have typical habits, right? Would you agree with that or no?
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, habits and behavior.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got to change. That with your mindset, and your beliefs determine your behavior.
Yeah.
And you can't act inconsistent over long periods of time against your belief systems. And yeah, I used to have terrible belief systems.
Do you see the same thing when you go in to train people then? At
Yeah.
each company, no
Most
matter
of
what sector they're in?
It doesn't matter what the sector is. It's got nothing to do with what you sell. It's who you are as a person. It's the beliefs that you have, and it's that you have to answer a question.
Yeah.
You put the prospect on a pedestal. They say they don't, but then you watch how people behave in a sales meeting. It's quite obvious you think that guy's more important than you.
Yeah.
Because your behavior dictates it. So yeah, the hardest thing is changing yourself.
Yeah.
Like I say, it takes, I think we said this on the other part, it takes, 7 years to train as a doctor, and then you're just a junior.
Yeah.
It takes 5 years to become a barrister, you're a junior. It takes 4 years to become an accountant, you're a junior. Sales, it takes 3 days product knowledge, a new car, a suit, and you are one.
Yeah, you're a
now
sales team leader
professional.
by 6 months.
But you ask the average salesman, why do people buy? What's the process a human being goes through in order to buy something, and they look at you blankly? It's like, how can you be doing this for 10 years and not know the answer? That's like asking a lawyer, so exactly how does the High Court work?
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
Yeah? You know, but this is it, they don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that people buy people.
Yeah.
Why?
They like you.
Because
they like me.
well,
They like me.
do they really? Is that how people buy? And they just can't explain it. And if you can't explain why something works, you're not a professional.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he's struggling.
I think so, because I don't think he can
explain why
the
what he
process.
does
no,
works.
exactly that. Exactly that.
What salespeople have?
I don't think it's about salespeople. I think it's about people.
Not about sales.
What's the difference between salespeople and people?
I train people.
You train people.
You trade people.
When we're trying to buy a piece of real estate, look, we're not. I'm calling people that are doing. You're doing a deal for $100 million.
All right, wait. You're telling you like more. Let's talk real estate, right?
No. Let's not leave that. Okay, you can't. There's no tricks when I'm talking to a guy on the phone. That phone call I did a few minutes ago. That's $100 million worth of deals. You can't trick a guy into that. I can't cross my legs and think, okay, that's going to get
You keep
the deal.
using the word trick though. Like, what do you mean trick? I'm confused when you make trick.
There's no gimmick, bro. This is what your viewer needs to see.
It's not
there's no trick.
Is there strategy?
The strategy is to have a full pipeline.
No, he just waffles around.
Who, Grant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like listening to a politician.
Yeah.
Because everything, you've got to have a strategy. Well, a strategy is normally a plan. A plan is a set of moves and techniques, and he's calling it all gimmicks and tricks.
Yeah.
Not answering a question, you could call a gimmick, but it's also a great skill.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, I think he's struggling here.
At Byron Thorne, is there a strategy then or no?
Certainly, but
What's the
best-
strategy then?
To make contact.
And
Find
once
out what the
you
interest is,
make
to
contact,
determine what the need is,
and then what's
and
the
to
strategy?
fulfill the need.
And then what's the strategy? How do you do that? How do you explain? How do you explain that?
You
to the
don't. You
guy?
don't explain it. You
don't
tell people what
explain
you
it.
want to do. You tell, hey, I want you to buy my product.
So if someone said, hey, I want you to buy my product, is that a good sales technique?
Well, there's nothing wrong with asking someone, but I mean, if you phoned a million people saying, hey, I want you to buy my stuff, someone's going to buy.
Yeah.
That's not a strategy or a
But
process.
just think of the logic, though. So
I know.
Grant's the person that earlier said that if you said you didn't want to buy his products, he would continue to ask you because that's the level of interest.
Yeah.
So I just got this image of him just repeating himself over and
Do you
over
wanna
again.
buy my product?
Do you want to buy my product? No.
Do you wanna-
That's a level of interest. No. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want to buy my products? 0. Can I get
Yeah.
1 from you? How long is it? And-
No, it's okay. He's on the ropes.
But he's got a sales training course if you want to spend your last $5,000 on it. That's how much it is.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like that guy was talking
I just, I think you're a killer marketer, by the way. I really
Oh,
do.
thank you.
I know.
Thank you.
Let me take my fucking hats off to you.
Yeah.
I think you're an unbelievable marketer. I
Yeah,
really
thank
do.
you.
The way you've built your business
Yeah.
on Facebook, and I really do. Tell me about the real estate side of the equation now.
Well, so
Is
the
that
real-
really where do you see yourself in the future? Is really the growth towards real estate?
Well, I'll never have a $10 billion sales training company. I will have a $10 billion real estate company. I mean, it's just
So what's
you just can't get there with training people. Like,
so do you what
people don't want to be educated, Jordan. You know that. People don't want to pay. They don't want to do the work for the abs. They just want the abs.
We can agree on that.
Yeah.
That he ended on a high note there.
Yeah.
Because that is true. With what I teach, I tell people when you first see it's like Mr. Miyagi doing the karate moves, and it's like, wow, that's awesome. All right, that's the demo.
Yeah.
Now is the wax on, wax off, paint on. And I go, that's all training is when we like. The first session is the most interesting because it's intellectually stimulating, and the reality then kicks in.
Yeah.
It's like, this is it. Hit the phone, try the technique, but it failed. Keep trying it, but it keeps failing. Keep trying. It will work. Do you believe it? I do, but it's not. Keep trying, and it's over. And I can't tell you if you ever spoke to my wife when I first started doing what I'm doing. She'd hear me sitting in my study, be like 8:30 in the morning. I'm there in boxers and a t-shirt, and I'd be doing all the techniques that I tell people they should do, failing after. But I knew it's because it was me delivering it badly, saying it wrong.
Yeah.
And I just had to keep practicing, and eventually I got it, and now consistently works.
Yeah.
But that was hard work. That didn't happen in just 3 days. It was graft.
Yeah. Overall, who do you think won? Grant versus Jordan?
I think salesmanship lost.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of the two, clearly Jordan was in control,
Yeah.
which is quite interesting.
I can't believe that Jordan let Grant contradict and argue against his own points he was trying to argue.
I think Jordan set him up, and this was just make the guy look silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you buy a course off either of them?
No.
No.
Hey guys, I got fish. I got fish. I just caught him. You want him?